I am outraged. I'm outraged like millions and millions of people out there are outraged. Look, we survived the Great Depression. We survived 2 world wars. We survived 9/11. Thugs who go into stores and take whatever they want, they're not going to bring us down. But society as we know it is beginning to unravel. As you know, Bill, great civilizations in history no longer exist, and our society is beginning to fall apart for all the reasons you just mentioned. When you could walk into a store, steal whatever you want, and there have been thieves since the beginning of history, but when you could steal whatever you want, no police to arrest you, no progressive DA who's interested in prosecuting you, so there's no jury to convict you, no judge to sentence you, no prison to put you in, no freaking nothing, no consequence at all. That's how societies begin to unravel. And if we don't find the courage, or the leaders with courage to put an end to this real soon, this is going to unravel even more, and we won't recognize, as bad as it is now, we won't recognize the America that we live in.
There's no doubt it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it's the fault of the people when you really strip it out. So last November here in New York, we had a gubernatorial election between an unbelievably weak leader, Kathy Hochul, who's the governor, and Lee Zeldin, a conservative Republican who promised reform and to crack down on crime. Hochul won. Hochul beat Zeldin. Okay? So that indicates that as bad as public disorder is in New York City, and it is bad, okay, the voters in New York, they don't care, Bernie, whether it's unraveling before their eyes or not, because the majority voted for Hochul.
You're right. And here's proof that I'm a bad person. They elected these idiots. They have to live with these idiots. Not my problem. But let me say this about the looting issue, because liberals look the other way about looting, about street crime, about the mess on our southern border, which you listed as, I think, the second issue Americans are most interested in. But let's just play pretend for a second. You're not going to see this, by the way, the looting videos on CNN or MSNBC, because, as I say, liberals don't like to talk about this. But let's just pretend that the looting wasn't going on in Chicago, but in South Dakota or North Dakota or Montana or Idaho, and the looters were all wearing big red MAGA hats. Oh, liberals would suddenly be very interested in looting and street crime and people throwing each other on subway tracks in New York City and things like that. They're only interested when it isn't people that they're afraid to point out that are looting. I'm being vague, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, African Americans,
everybody listening,
everybody knows that African American young males commit proportionally the majority of crimes in this country. But African American innocent people are far and away the victims of the crimes.
Exactly.
So the liberals want to help minorities, but they really don't want to help minorities.
Look, and as you have correctly said, I saw you saying this, and I nodded my head in agreement. Some progressives say, well, they're poor. You know, they're depraved because they're deprived. They're poor, but most poor people are decent Americans. Most poor people are decent, hardworking Americans, and there's no limit to white liberal guilt. There's no limit to that, and that's why they look the other way when people are looting in Chicago or St. Louis or even California. They look the other way because they know who's doing the looting. Shelby Steele, the black intellectual from California, very bright guy, called it good racial manners. These liberals and progressives are showing their good racial manners. They're saying, no, we're the good ones. We're not racist like, O'Reilly and Goldberg, we're the good ones. And what's going on is precisely what you said. People are being victimized in poor neighborhoods. Poor people don't like this. I would even say most Democrats, most mainstream Democrats don't like what's going on. But until they join people like you and me and the people watching us and say, we've had enough of this, we can't watch America continue to unravel, because there's going to come a time when it unravels and it's too late to do anything about it.
Yeah, it's too late to bring it back together again. But I'll submit to you that in Chicago, the worst for minority victims, because most of the crime in Chicago is centered in the black ghetto neighborhoods south of the city. They elected an even more liberal mayor than Lori Lightfoot. The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year, stocks dropped a whopping 20%. 2023 could be worse. You are right to be worried. So call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I've been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers and have the highest rating in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201. That's 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.